Hi, I'm Paul DeBartolomeo. Welcome to Fire Engineering's Training Minutes. In this segment, we're going to discuss the hydraulic forcible entry tools and how they apply to inward opening doors. All right. With me right here, I have the one-piece HydroRam. All right. It's a hydraulic forcible entry tool that we can use to force this inward opening door. All right. In order to use the HydroRam effectively, there have to be a few parameters in place. All right. Specifically, we need a door set in a metal frame. All right. The HydroRam produces 10,000 psi. If this is a wood door frame, the back jaw, as we go to force it, is going to rip right through the door frame. All right. The door itself is going to be preferably a metal door for the same reason. In this instance here, up on the training trailer, we have a solid wood door. All right. A solid, real good quality wood door, we can use the HydroRam on. Any kind of hollow core wood door, as the head pushes into the door, it's going to push right through the door. All right, so those are two main parameters, right? A solid metal frame, a solid door of either wood or metal. Okay. When we're using this tool, we want to place it specifically right on the lock itself. Okay. We're not trying to manipulate the forks of the tool between the door and the frame. We're actually trying to blow the lock right off the back side of the door. So, you know, in a previous video, we talked about operating 6 inches above or below the lock. Here with the HydroRam, we're going to place it right on top of the lock. The only change there would be if we had an extruded lock cylinder like the tubular deadbolt where we couldn't get on there, or a knob and key assembly where we couldn't get on there. We want to get as close to the lock as we possibly can. All right, so before we go and force this door with the HydroRam, I just want to talk a little bit about troubleshooting, a couple of issues that I have run into over the years. All right, when I come up to work on this door, my first action is going to be to slide the split ring off the handle, right? The split ring and the chain keeps the handle down. When I do that, right, the handle is going to pop up. Okay, so when I go to operate, my first instinct is going to be to do what? Depress the handle to set the tool. When I do that, just that little depress actually separates the head from the jaw. So the proper way to do this so you can set yourself up properly would be depress the dump, then depress the handle so you can get the tool set clean. All right? Another issue you may run into if you don't exercise the tool a lot, as you start to put force to the door, the piston may not extend. All right? A quick way to troubleshoot that is just exercise the dump valve a little bit. All right? May just be a little bit of air in there, air bound, right? If I just exercise that dump valve, I should be able to pressurize the tool. All right, so those are just a couple of little troubleshooting problems you may run into out in the field. All right, so the guys are going to come in now. They're going to force this inward opening door. All right, and we're going to kind of walk you through the process here on how to properly set this and utilize this ram. All right, so Tim's going to come in with the HydroRam. He's going to put the head of the tool right on the lock there. All right, but we have to create some space. So Eric's going to come in with the Halligan and just gap the door below him. Now, all we got to do is get the adze on the door and in behind the stop up to the frame, and he's just going to flex the bar back to create that space. We need about a 1/16 of an inch to get the tool set. All right, now he's going to come in with the rubber mallet and just kind of strike the head of the HydroRam to set the tool. We don't want to use an axe or a Halligan to strike the tool in. They provide a rubber mallet. That's what we want to use. We don't want to damage our HydroRam. Once the tool is set, Tim can start pumping the handle, extending the piston, and force the door. And we'll control the door as we normally would, and we've gained entry. All right, so just another troubleshooting thing. Right? Today we're working with the HydroRam 2, which has a 6-inch throw on it. The predecessor to that, the HydroRam 1, only has a 4-inch throw. Sometimes, depending on the lock, that may not be enough spread to fail the lock. So something we can do to pick up 2 more inches of spread is use the head of the flathead. So Eric's going to come in and just place the axe head right on the lock. Tim's going to reset the HydroRam. He's going to grab the stop on the door, and the head of the HydroRam now is going to be pushing on the axe head. That kind of extends our throw by 2 inches, so we can go ahead and fail those stubborn locks. All right, so another option we have, a hydraulic forcible entry tool, is the Rabbit tool. This was actually the predecessor to the HydroRam. And as you can see, this is a two-piece tool. We have the pump and we have the head. All right, so this is a small hydraulic hand pump. Okay, requires 2 firefighters to use this properly. All right, so what we have to do is we have a dump valve here. All right, so I need to dial this up into pressure, and firefighter Riggett can pump, and we'll see the head extend. All right, couple specific parameters with the Rabbit tool. The pump itself has to remain horizontal. All right, so we have to have it level at all times. If we turn this pump vertical and we try to pump it, we're not going to get fluid to the head. All right, so the guys are going to come in and set up on the door again, and we're going to kind of go through the process of how we would utilize the two-piece Rabbit to force an inward opening door. The same parameters that applied for the HydroRam as far as a metal frame, preferably a metal door, possibly a solid wood door, right? But the same parameters apply for the two-piece Rabbit tool, all right? 10,000 PSI, 4 inches of throw on the two-piece Rabbit tool. All right, so our entry team's going to come in. First thing we're going to do, Eric's going to gap the door so Tim can get the head of the Rabbit tool in place right on the lock. Eric's then going to pressurize the pump. The pump is going to remain horizontal on the deck. On Tim's cue, we're going to start pumping the Rabbit tool. We're starting to get some separation, some spread on the door. We failed the lock, quick sweep, and we control the door. So one of the major issues we encounter with the HydroRam is that, we put it under load to force a door and we have a seal go bad. All right? There are seals in here, and if it's not exercised regularly and actually put under load, the seals will dry rot and they'll fail. All right? So our standard test of the HydroRam is what I call dry firing it. All right? That's all right to exercise the mechanism, but we're not really putting the tool under any load. All right, so to properly maintain this, I'd say on a weekly basis, we'll actually put it under a load. That's not always an easy thing because we may not have a door readily available. But what do we have in the firehouse? We're always going to have a vise somewhere in the firehouse if we have a workbench. So Tim's going to come up and kind of demonstrate how we would put this tool under load just to exercise those seals a little bit, prevent them from dry rotting, to prevent that tool failure out in the field when we're using it in real life. So all he's going to do is he's going to put the head in there, he's going to start to pump it up, the back jaw is going to grab, the front jaw is going to start to push on the base of the vise, and we just want some moderate pressure. Just kind of lock the tool in the vise, he gets it set. We're not trying to spread the vise apart, he's just going to hold it there, maybe 30 seconds to a minute, just to try to exercise that tool under a load to keep those seals lubricated. We try to do this on Wednesdays, once a week. We just put the tool under load. That's kind of been a good preventative maintenance thing for us. We can do it with the two-piece Rabbit tool as well. Again, just a basic routine maintenance procedure that we try to do. All right, so just to summarize this segment a little bit. We talked about the 2 different hydraulic forcible entry tools we have at our disposal. We have the 2-piece Rabbit tool and the 1-piece HydroRam. We discussed the proper way to use these and where they're applicable. Inward opening door, in a metal frame, solid wood door or a metal door is preferred. Okay, and we talked a little bit about operational, the differences between the 2-piece and the 1-piece, and we finished up with just the basic routine maintenance of putting the tool under load on a weekly basis just to exercise those seals so the tool doesn't fail you out in the field when we're actually trying to force a door with it. Right, my name is Paul DeBartolomeo. I'd like to thank Dan Gordon from Flash Fire Industries for allowing us to train on his mobile training trailer. I'd like to thank you for watching Fire Engineering's Training Minutes.